Hello, everyone, and welcome to Relatable Relationship Let's Talk Forum. We're going to be giving you godly essentials for dating and marriage. And we always put out this disclaimer. We don't claim to know everything about relationships, everything about marriage or dating, but with the wisdom that God has given us and the personal experiences that we have been through, we know we can help you. We know that we can. So we have some good questions to discuss tonight, and we have four of them to be exact. So we're just going to get started and go forward. All right. Question one. It says, how do I go about approaching my husband about him calling and texting other women? I do not have proof, but I have a feeling this is happening. He has started recently locking his phone, and when his phone rings, he doesn't answer it when I'm around, or he will go outside. I feel betrayed and hurt. I need help in handling my emotions.
What I would say, you pray, you confront him, you sit down and you ask questions. Since this is bothering you so deeply, ask the questions that you need answers to. Don't just assume. Just ask it so you will have everything you need. Now, normally, a person that like is texting and going outside to talk or don't answer his phone, right? Yeah, they're hiding something. Yeah, but confront him and find out for yourself
Yeah.
before you make any accusations. Find out if he denies what he's doing, then the problem would be then why you have to go outside and talk.
Right.
And why you locking your phone so I can't get into it. That's hiding something.
That's fine.
Couples don't hide nothing. Married couples don't hide nothing.
They should not hide.
They should not hide. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
We should not have anything to hide. I think about that teaching we did one time on the naked marriage. It talks about having secrets, how we should not have any secrets from each other. You know, people on Facebook that we're friends with, you friends with the person, I'm not friends with the person, and you two are inboxing each other. You know, that should not be. Marriage should be open where if you have friends, I should be friends with your friends. If somebody's texting you and it's inappropriate, you should be able to come to me and say, babe, this person is texting me, and let me know what's going on. Because if you start keeping secret, that's when the enemy comes in with secret. We start being secretive with each other. Yeah.
That's definitely, yeah. Once you start keeping the secret, you're letting the enemy come in and hang out like in your relationship. Yes. And you don't want the enemy to hang in a relationship because he will tear it up.
You give him an inch, he's taking him out.
Take a foot.
Oh, yeah. He's coming all the way in. Yeah. So like my husband said, you definitely have to sit down and talk to him about the way that you're feeling, because you said, I need help in handling my emotions. Go to him. That's your husband. Right. Go to him and let him know exactly how you feel about that. You know, the phone ring, he goes outside. Me, myself, I'd be going right outside too. Like, okay, who you talking to? That's right. Why come you can't talk around me? You know, that right. Yeah, you can't be to the point where I think something is going on, but I'm not really sure. When it first happens, find out what's going on. Even if you got to take the phone and say, okay, who is this? You know, do what you have to do as a wife to find peace in that situation, because that should not be. When we're married, you know, all that stuff is for young girlfriend, boyfriend stuff. But when you get married, it should not be your husband is texting somebody else, he's calling somebody else and all that. And we know things happen. We know it happens, but you don't have to stand for it. You don't have to sit around and say, you know, I'm my emotions are all over the place. Talk to him, get out in the open, get them emotions however you need to get them. But after you finish talking to him, it should be done. Don't do it no more.
You will know either way. You will know, because there's no sense of letting your nerves get tore up. You know, I mean, that's putting stress on you.
It is.
You know, that's tearing on you. So that means you don't have no peace.
No.
So find out. Find out. Don't drag it on. Find out.
Find out what's going on. And you're going to be
And
emotional.
don't be afraid. Don't be afraid that's your husband.
Right. And that's probably the thing. I'm afraid of what I might hear. But sometimes stuff have to come into the light in order for you to deal with it. And you have to stand up and say, what's going on? Why all of a sudden you're locking your phone? Why all of a sudden when your phone rings, you go outside? Especially if he haven't been doing that before, and now all of a sudden he's doing that. So you know something is going on, but you have to confront it. Don't let it keep lingering, because you're going to be losing sleep and you're going to be stressing out. So stop it in its tracks. Stop it in its tracks. Next question. Should a husband and wife watch porn together? My husband and I have been watching it for some time now, and I have started feeling uneasy about it. How do I discuss with him that I am no longer interested? He seems to really enjoy it and he looks forward to it. I need answers.
Okay. That would be a delicate question, but to answer it correctly, you gotta ask the question. So if you're both living for God, then porn is out. If you both say porn is out,
Right.
you shouldn't be looking at it anyway. Because what happens in porn, that's a spiritual bond, right? That's a spiritual hold right there that pulls you in deeper and deeper. You will never be satisfied by just watching a little bit. It'll draw you in deeper and deeper. And what you're looking at goes to your mind and stays in your mind. So even after it leaves, after the show goes off or the movie goes off, you'll still be able to see it in your memory. So the images that he's enjoying seeing is somebody else having sex, or those things he should be enjoying with you,
right,
and not seeing somebody else, because the images that he's looking at is not you. It's right. The other person.
It's another person.
So it's not for married people. Sinful people will watch it because that's what sinful people do. But people who are living for God, they avoid that because that is uncleanness, right? That's right.
It brings in all kinds of spirits. And why you got to look at another woman and you got your wife right there. If you want to see another woman naked, just look at your wife.
There you go.
All you got to do, just look at your wife. But like you said, porn just messes up a mind. You looking at this person with this perfect body, just as perfect as can be, because that's just how they have them looking. And most of it ain't real. But that's what you see. And then you look at your wife, maybe she done had about 2 or 3 babies, and she may not be shaped like them. So now, in order for you to have sex and have a good time, you got to think about, like you said, you got to think about those images of that person. So you lusting after another person, which is supposed to be all into your wife, which that's why you don't need to bring porn into your marriage. So we say, sit down and talk to your husband. Like, once again, sit down and talk to your husband. Tell him exactly how you feel about it and go from there.
Because you started watching it with him, and then all of a sudden you feel like I don't like this no more. So you know it's wrong. Now he's enjoying it, which means he's all the way in it. The enemy has him pulled in. So you're there enjoying it with him, quote unquote, and making it seem like it's okay.
Right.
But the drawing is he's drawing in, and he probably can't function one night without going to see porn.
No.
That's because that spirit has a stronghold on it.
It's a stronghold.
And it's got to be broken, and the only way to be broken is he has to be delivered.
Yes.
He has to be delivered. He has to surrender.
Yes.
That because that's actually in the mindset of committing adultery. Because he's looking at another woman to lust after.
He's lusting.
And it will cause you to look at another man to lust after. Because the images that you see, 9 times out of 10, we seeing something different than what we have seen.
That's
so
true.
The truth of the matter is, it's adultery minded, and it's wrong.
Yeah, it's wrong. So talk to your husband. Tell him exactly how you feel, and then just don't do it no more. Don't do it no more. Don't get caught up don't get caught up in that, because it is a spirit, and the more that you watch it, the more that you're going to want to watch it.
That's right.
So, just cut it and don't even watch it anymore. Just tell them how you feel. Amen. And the third one is, when is it too long to be dating and not moving towards marriage?
That's another good question. When you look at it, when you're dating somebody with the expectation of getting married, that has to be made clear. Okay? You're not dating just to be dating somebody. You're dating for I'm getting married. We're getting married. A date has to be set. If you're dating a person for a year and they haven't come up with a date, they're not gonna marry.
Mm-hmm.
They're not looking to get married. Right. Maybe not to you.
Right.
But most men already know. They already know if they're gonna marry you or not. You hear a lot of excuses. Well, when we get our finances together, a lot of people that are living together, and they've been living together maybe a year, maybe 2 years, they'll bring up that same excuse. When I get my finances together, we get our finances together. But you're already doing everything that a married couple does. Mm-hmm. You're paying bills together, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. So if you're doing that, then that tells you that you're already halfway there. Mm-hmm. The other part is the trust and the faithfulness. Mm-hmm. Because if he's stringing you along, he's waiting for somebody else that he really wants.
Now that's the sad part too, because I've talked to someone before and they said they were in a relationship and it went on for a long time. They were waiting for this person to marry them. Person ain't said nothing about marriage, so she ended up letting the person go. But not too long after, he done met somebody and married that person. See? So what do you think about that?
Yeah, that wasn't the person he wanted to marry. Okay, that's all. He didn't want to marry that person. He would just
stringing her along until the right person came along. And that's why we as women, we have to be so careful that when we meet somebody and we start dating them, that we don't get all into it like, well, this man is going to be my husband. You got to have your discernment on, because that man could be there for another reason, just to hold you up until the person that he really wants comes along. Just to mess up your time and stuff. So you gotta be careful when you're out here dating, because sometimes our emotions get so into it, we forget about everything else. Yeah. And we walk forward and oh my God, it just messes us up, because some women just want to get married so bad, and we see this person like, oh, he's good, he make good money, and he got this, and he got own house and all that. And he may not even be thinking about you the same way. Right. So this lady asked, how long is too long to be dating? If y'all dating for a year and nothing has come up with him saying, I want to marry you or something, like, he don't say nothing. You the one got to always bring it up. He's not interested in you like that. He's just stringing you along until the woman comes that he will want to be with. That's right. And that's why that lady let the man go, and in a year he was married, because he married somebody that he was into. If a man is not into you, he's not going to marry you. No. Now, unless it's something that he really wants from you. But he's not going to marry you. So we got to stop fooling ourselves, ladies, and thinking that just because this man is dating me, that I should go on and marry him. You better let God lead you. You better have your discernment on, and be married for the right reason, not because you're lonely. Another reason. Yeah. Right. Married for the right reasons. You have to. It's a hurtful thing when, you've been with somebody for 5 and 6 years and the man leaves you and marries somebody else. That's a hurtful thing. But sometimes we as women, we put ourselves in that situation where we put our all in, and God has given us warning after warning, red flag after red flag, and we don't listen. We're like, well, I think this is the man for me. Have your discernment on and be able to see through your spiritual eyes what you need to see. Let God lead you and guide you.
Yeah. Always ask. Yeah. Asking God to lead you and be prepared to hear. Yeah. And be prepared to do what he says. Yeah. Because if you're asking him and he gives you the answer, no, this is not the one, don't keep holding on to that person. Let him go. Because they're holding you up. Yes. There's somebody that God has for you and you're holding on to somebody else, so that person can't come into you.
Exactly. Exactly. And sometimes we're holding on to people that we should not even be holding on. And we wonder why this person is not he's not committed to me, because that's not the person that God has for you. But we keep trying and trying and trying to make that person love us. And that person don't want to marry us, but we want to make him marry us. And that's where the hurt comes from. It definitely comes from that. And I know Pastor Megan, she talked today about what Maya Angelou said. When a person shows you who they are, you need to believe them. If the man done told you that all he wants is a casual relationship, and you thinking that it's going to lead to marriage, but he already told you at the get-go, I'm not looking for anything serious. I just want somebody, to date and kick it with for a little while. But in your mind, you like, well, I kind of like him. I want to marry him. And y'all date and kick it and all that. And 6 months done pass, and you're like, well, I believe I can change his mind, and I believe I can do this. Now you don't got yourself into sin because you believe that you can change the man's mind, so you're doing everything you can to change his mind. You got to be careful. You got to use your discernment. Love yourself so much that you say, this is not going anywhere. I'm walking away. So the question was, when is it too long to be dating and not get married? I'm saying after 8 or 9 months, y'all should be talking about something, especially if you're exclusive, you should be talking about something serious. And then when he do give you a ring and say, we're engaged now, he needs to be setting a date. A date needs to be set, because some people have been engaged, they done got about 3 or 4 engagement rings, ain't got married yet. After you get engaged, that don't mean nothing until you set a date. Set a date and move towards marriage. And it shouldn't take 5, 6, or 7 years after you get engaged to move forward. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't be engaged that long.
Once you got that engagement ring, your marriage should be within the next, let's say, a year at the most.
Yeah.
At the most.
Give you time to plan a little something.
Also, you should not put yourself in a position where, because you get engaged, now you act like a wife. Don't do that, because being engaged does not make you a wife.
Yeah, it happens though. Because after you get engaged, most women think, okay, we're engaged now. A lot of men might think it too. We're engaged now, so we can go on and move in together because we're gonna get married. That man done held your life up for 5 and 6 years, and you still say, well, at least we engaged. But engaged is not married. You have to make sure if he's not going to commit to you by a certain time, you got to let him go. Because like my husband said, you're holding up what God has for you. Right. If that's not the man for you, you got to move. Right. You got to move forward. Yeah, it is really sad.
You're more valuable than that, than to put your life on hold for somebody to make up their mind.
Oh my gosh. And it's going to happen to so many women that's torn, and they don't want anybody else because this person really broke them. So now they're like, I don't want nobody else. I don't want another man, because you made this man your whole life, and he wasn't into you like you were into him. So you dated and dated and dated, thinking you would get married, and it did not happen. So you gotta let him go. Love yourself so much that you say, I can't do it no more. I gotta let you go. Gotta let you go.
Trust the hand of God.
Amen.
Trust his direction.
Yes,
sometimes it hurts.
Yes.
Sometimes like you're mad, but it's better for you to be hurt now than to be hurt later.
Yeah.
So listen to the voice of God. Listen. He says no.
No means
don't hang on. Don't like my wife said, don't try to change them. That's not your job. That's how we
get hurt worse. When we try to change a person that does not want to change. That's how we get hurt. That's why it's so important not to be unequally yoked. It's so important. So we got to do better in that area. We got to do better. And the last question is, how do you get into dating someone with everything going on, such as this pandemic? Now, that's a good question.
Now, that's a real good question. We were saying that with a question like that, and during this particular time, this would be a good time for you to date, to collect data.
Right.
And it will also be a great time for you to have the virtual dates.
Exactly.
This is something that you can work. You actually can work it. You know, you
Exactly.
can go on dates on the outside. You know, you're sitting outside. You know, where they have places where you can sit outside and
Mm-hmm.
eat.
Very
You know,
important.
you can have that. You could, if you trust it, like that, you can have it.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a time for you to take your time. A lot of people want because they know that the fall and winter is coming. And they want somebody to snuggle up next to them. Take your time.
Take your time.
Because you're setting yourself up for a big fall. But the virtual dating is an excellent thing to go ahead and do.
Yeah.
Try it out. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you can plan dates. You know, you can plan dinners. You know, they're at their house, you're at your house, or like you say, you can go out to outdoor eating.
Yeah.
You know, and eat there. I
Mm-hmm.
know, like some people, you know, the bugs might want to join you. In most cases, they will.
They
But
will.
it's a place, it's a time where you can. Some people would say, we go out and get takeout. Well, takeout can work too. Like if you were willing to eat in the car, you know, I mean, because that'll work. You know,
We've done it.
it'll give you time to talk. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and find some things out.
Yeah.
You know, but don't put yourself in a position where I don't know what to do. You know, be smart about it.
Mm-hmm.
Be smart about it and take your time.
Yeah. And like you said, this is definitely the time that can be collecting some data, because you really can't go a whole lot of places, movies, bowling. A lot of that stuff is out right now, so you can't do it. But like you said, you can sit and you can talk. You can find out a lot about a person when you talk. You know, go to the we were just thinking about this place we can go to. We haven't been to a lot of times. It's by the water. They have like a little ice cream place there. Then they have this Mexican restaurant where they bring your food outside to you. You know, and that's a good that would be a good day. You know, going to the park, doing things outside, but definitely doing a lot of talking during this season. You know, getting to know a person, getting to know them inside out. And like you said about the virtual dating, you know, get on Zoom and talk to each other. Look like you cook your dinner, he cook his dinner, you know, and once he take a little bite of something, you take your bite, you know, like you eat together. However you want to do it. But the thing is, at this time is a good time to really learn how to date God's way, because we don't supposed to have everybody over our house right now. So this is a good time to practice, if you didn't know before, how to really date God's way and see if the person that you're dating is into dating God's way.
That's right.
And you'll find out a lot.
Wow.
You'll find out a lot then. So we say, you know, find out what you can about a person during this time. Talk about everything. Collect that data. Collect the data.
Very
Yeah.
important.
It's very important. So that's our questions and discussions for tonight. And we enjoyed it too. We always enjoy it.